Okay, hello. Welcome back to our Pillars of Eternity Triple Crown playthrough. Brought to you at GameAnyone.com. Just continue. With this amazing game. If it ever loads. Haven't patched it, nor I think I will. I've had problems with patches in the past. Fix some shit, but damage another, change the balance of the combat. It's not like this game really needs.
So you will go to your king and what? Implore him to curb his violent impulses at the word of a heroic academic.
You don't usually grace me with your flattery, priest. What merits this attention?
All Rawatai's history is war, same as everyone. If only the world were led by soft-hearted giants who waste their muscles stroking their own quills. Oh, wouldn't that be grand?
I'm content to remain a burr in your boots. But here, if you but stand on the docks, you can single-handedly ensure no one ever sails to the Deerwood again.
Of course. Hey, all right then.
Good day to you.
A woman stands in the shade of the garden, muttering to herself. She's fixated on the pages of a large, well-worn tome, seemingly oblivious to the blooming flowers and the cool, fragrant breeze. She only looks up when your shadow covers her page. Do you mind? I'm rather busy. What are you busy with? She snaps her book shut, bestowing soul attachment. We all know that souls move into people at birth and out of them at death, but we still have a lot of questions on what makes them sick, so to speak. What do you mean? Making them stick? She rushes away, a striking lock from her forehead. Souls power bodies and give their tissues life, but only when they are firmly attached. It's separation that leads to a whole spate of soul-related ailments, including the Hollowborn. But if we understood how to reattach souls, we could end Waidwen's legacy, maybe even conquer death. She scratches behind her ear. That's the theory anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have all the research I need to put it into practice. What exactly do you need? There's a manuscript called the Theorem of Pangram. It contains research from Pangram's experiments on detached souls. The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rumored to have a copy in the Elder Archives. Pangram's work is considered to be one of the more daring animancy texts, not something generally circulated among noises, nor easy to get a hold of. I wonder if we might have a peek at it. The theorems could advance my research by leap and bounds, but Grimda, the High Archivist, worships Whale, which means she has some paradoxical views on sharing and restricting knowledge. And she's not exactly a proponent of animancy. She tends to restrict the kinds of information that would be useful to me. Well, it's her decision. That's what all her scriveners say. Anyway, I should probably get back to my work. I have more questions on the theorems. Why won't Grimda lend you the books? I The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rather protective of its books, especially the rarer ones. And Grinda in particular, she hates animancy, thinks it's dangerous. I don't see how you can run the greatest library in the Deerwood and be so averse to the spread of knowledge and research, but I've never understood the religious types. What are the Elder Archives? They hold the rarest, most arcane, and most powerful texts in the Deerwood. Think of it as the inner sanctum of the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Needless to say, you need Grimda's permission to enter. Okay. Tell me about you. I am an animancer at the Sanitarium. Currently, I'm researching matters related to Wayne's legacy. What's that? It refers to a rise in hollow-born children in the Deerwood in recent years. Some have also connected it to the so-called Biowalks that blow through Glenfath. There's hardly any reliable data on those, though, so I can't really comment. She sniffs. I don't much care for the term Wayne's legacy. It reeks of superstition, but it's too prevalent to change it at this point. Personally, I would like to see people take a more methodological approach to these matters, rather than throwing up their hands and blaming the gods. Don't think the Deerwoodians would see too much fun in that. I'll leave you alone. Okay, we can try to get that book. I do need to enter the forbidden parts of the library, you could say, to find out if necromancy is a crime, which I still don't know, surprisingly enough. How is that even possible? The table is set with an assortment of leaflets, booklets with the titles like Practical Benefits of Animancy and Soul Adjustment for the Well-Adjusted Soul. Book. Head Warden Ethler Moer. A well-maintained statue of a middle-aged man presides over the room, looking down, unblinking, over the bustle of harried academics pestered by hopeful desperate. A strong warmth emanates from it that you could sense from across the room. There is a human soul stored beneath the stonework. You feel its attention turn towards you. It's been some time since a watcher graced these halls. His voice echoes deeply, rumbling the floor beneath you. I'm envious of your natural insights, traveler. I can only imagine how it might have helped my work in life. Now, what it is that has brought you to the Sanitarium? I'm looking for an animator named Moedred. Moedred, of course. You will find him downstairs in the first room to the right. I'm curious as to how you've come to in your present state. In the statue you mean? Well, he laughs. I was old. It seemed wrong to me. A lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery only to lose it in death. Somewhere, someday, I would wake up in a new body, none the wiser, and pursue a different course entirely. All that experience wasted. If we are ever to unearth the principles behind our existence, it would be in spite of our condition. Of that I am quite sure. To live as part of something I've helped build seemed to me a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple as our techniques go, and for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they are not your own. I do miss being able to take an active role in the scholarly efforts here. Now and again one of our animancers will humor me and consult over some problem, but they are a jealous breed and are too often afraid to collaborate. If you are considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. Tell me about the Sanitarium. A history lesson? That is a rare pleasure. Most come here only concerned with cheating death in one way or another. We are an old institution as Deerwood goes. This is our 94th year. As with many cities, the growth of Defiance Bay brought with it a host of problems. One of the worst was that bird with, shall we say, ill-favored souls came to populate its streets in droves, thus the Sanitarium. Brackenbury was a natural fit. It was growing, but there was also a lot of money here back then. This place owes its survival to the curiosities of the wealthy more than anything, I think. Our funding came at a time of great suspicion in animancy, not much like today. So much progress has been lost to the mishaps of a few careless practitioners. But in time it was forgotten, as all things are. Since then we've been at the forefront of animancy's resurgence. We've played host to many gifted researchers and pushed the boundaries of our knowledge in ways never thought possible. Some of the most safe transfers were done here, and we have pioneered work in soul purification, lineage analysis, preservation. It's really quite a list, if you pardon my pride. Today, it's, well, I can say exactly the same. There's been some push to shut us down. It comes from Deerwood's more excitable denizens, whose minds are more passionate than thoughtful, I'm afraid. People see this legacy, and they see it involves something they don't understand. So it's natural for them to suspect people whose understanding exceeds theirs. It looks to them like we're hiding something. We have a representative in the palace this very moment, defending the entire science of animancy at a hearing before the Duke, absurd as it sounds. If it does not go well, it could be the end of animancy in Deerwood. I fear Eivor may be swayed by all this unrest, irrational though it may be. We shall see. Well, in that case we can go and kill the Earl, whatever. You may have a member of the leading key in your midst. Ethermoer groans and the stone around him shudder. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions into our affairs, of course. One can seldom be certain whether they have meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own, but a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect you could be of some use in verifying one's identity. You are at odds with the leading key as well, I take it. They have something I need. I hope it isn't knowledge you seek. They are seldom keen to part with it. Do you have any idea who this person might be? It would be unwise to consider anyone above suspicion. Very well, in that case I would recommend you speak first with our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here or in their offices downstairs. You'll report anything suspicious to me immediately. This is my only request. Well, as long as that guy is not there. Table is set with an assortment of leaflets, okay. Who is this person? Apparently I cannot talk to him. It's apparently a lecture of some sort. A guard. Let's enter this place. These look like sketches of Engwidian ruins and artifacts. Deer. No, we're in the Deerwood, which is a different country. I know in Idiri, animancy is unlawful. Okay, let's see. This might prove what I need. Animals is assigned both respected and reviled, sometimes by the same person. For all the research done in the topic, we still know so little. Control over life itself, something animancers have been working toward for hundreds of years. There are no real records of how the practice of animancy was first discovered, but once the spark of knowledge ignited, there was no stopping its inevitable discoveries. In 2260, AI, animancers, as a result of their extensive research, successfully contained and transferred a soul. The subject of this experiment, whose name is unknown, was young and wealthy but infirm. The idea was to move his soul from the dying body and into that of a recently deceased man who had suffered an accident. The new body, an accident. The new body, only slight decay, would house the soul, giving the man a much better life. The outcome of this experiment resulted in a condemnation and outlaw of animancy in the Iberian Empire. Again, while we have no true records of what happened, as they were all destroyed after the animancy was outlawed, a journal was discovered, a makeshift confession by one of the participants. Excerpts of the journal follow. 22 AI from Prima 16. It is done and the gods forgive us for our arrogance. I am not sure what I was expecting, certainly not that, but what did any of us expect? Still, behind the revulsion there is a sense of pride, something I can't deny. All the research, this time, everything we worked for. We thought we would change the world. How it's changed. All what's in place, the twisted form lying in the table next to the new vessel. The equipment had been prepared, the tinctures and potions are carefully crafted, every detail painstakingly organized to ensure success. We most assuredly succeeded. The procedure went exactly as it should. The soul extracted from the old body went bound in place to prevent it from moving. Then the next step, transfer to the flesh vessel. It was beautiful and terrifying. I listened as they spoke the words of binding. I watched the soul move, not the soul itself, of course, but the vapor we used to detect it as it lowered into the vessel. A gentle luminescence covered the body and then nothing. Silence, darkness. I held my breath, afraid that even the slightest disturbance would destroy all our hard work. Then motion, then dear gods, then blood. How did I survive? I do not know. The vessel rose from the slab and the room breathed. Every person crowded around the tables exhaled. Some cheered. We had made life from death. We had become eternal. The body closed its eyes and tilted its head, looking for all purposes to be listening for something or to it. Then its eyes popped open and it moved. Its lips peeled back from its teeth in a horrible expression of fury. It fell on the nearest man, tearing its throat, knocking him to the ground. Then the room erupted into screams, shouts, and a flurry of bodies running, pushing and doing everything in their power to get away from the creature sitting on their colleague. But right before that happened, in the split second before chaos, there was nothing in the air but stunned, terrified silence. I heard it sitting there on his chest, face at his neck, and it was feasting. Well, that's great.
And what does the